here we are, once again, with the Power Macintosh G5. And its current state of existence. Clearly it needs a battery. I'm gonna have to figure that out. But it is a functional machine, as you can see. I have to adjust the resolution because the resolution is wrong on that. Oh, maybe the resolution's not wrong. That's native res for this panel. Huh. It looks weird. I don't know. Something about that is strange. But that's alright. In its current existence, this is what it is. 512 meg of RAM. And for video, that's not video. This is what it's got. But I think we can do better than that. If you remember, open up a browser here. This is the same video that I was using before.
Well, hello there everyone, and welcome to another UXW build video as we cruise into the Keykeeper's very crowded...
See, 360p is not particularly possible.
Why am I going to the Keykeeper's? Well, because not...
But if I bring it down to 144,
because Naughty Truck
it is at least a little bit viewable.
After 270,000 miles, the alternator gave up.
So what I'm going to try and do, quit out of that, see how long it took to quit. I'm going to see if I can find some DDR memory, because I think that's what this takes. Hope it's not something crazy like ECC memory, because that might make it a little bit harder, but... see if we can find some DDR memory. And we can go ahead and upgrade the video card. And I'll show you what I have to install here in just a second. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to pull this fan out. And probably break something in the process, so that we can see what's going on here in terms of memory. Yeah, there's 8 RAM slots in this machine, and that is just PC 3200, so that I should be able to upgrade. We'll try this first. And we got 1 gig there, and another gig here. This is actually, I think anyway, they look the same. This was a 2 gig kit, as you can see. That'd be nice, if that actually works. I don't know if this thing will take memory modules that big, though. So, it is PC 3200, and it should be PC 3200U. It's not registered memory or anything fancy like that. But, almost looks like we're missing some screws there for those heat sinks, but there's nothing for them to go into. Kind of an odd design. I'm not sure why Apple would have done it that way. But video card, you see there, is an AGP. That's actually just a Radeon 7000. What I'm going to do for that, and that's my primary reason why I'm here, is I have something closer to what it would have shipped with. Right here, this is actually a 9800 XT. In fact, I think that's exactly what this would have shipped with if we take a look there. Yeah, R9800. So it probably would have shipped with this card. And this is an Apple card, of course. Alright, this RAM actually came from Weasel 2 HTM at some hamfest or another. I don't remember which one. But now it's going to get put to use. Although, like I said, I don't know if the system actually will take memory modules that big, because that's pretty large for a DDR memory module. But, maybe not. I've seen some 2 gigs out there. Having said all of that, these are installed the way that they're installed. I believe that you need to install them matched. So whatever you end up putting in this bank down here, you have to match it up here. So really, I've just installed it the same way that the old memory modules came out. Alright, in with the new. I believe that'll be a nice little performance increase. I had a little bit of concern as to whether or not that was even going to go in there, because I didn't know whether or not this machine had an AGP Pro slot, but it does, so that'll work just fine. What I do with this, I don't know yet. That's future me's problem to figure out. This can be a pain to get into place, and I'm not really 100% sure it's in place. There's a connector up at the top that has to plug in, but this plastic piece has got to also tuck into a lip down in the bottom of the machine. I'm sure when all this stuff was brand new, it was a lot easier. This guide kind of makes it easier as well, but the problem is this really wants to flip up, because this guide isn't totally 100% compliant, I guess is the right word. But I mean, I got it in there. I just hope that those fans are actually functional. And of course, never, ever, ever lose or break or anything this plastic baffle, because your life will get that much more difficult if you do. I'm going to put the cover on this, and we'll see if the machine actually posts at all. If that's the right word to use for a Macintosh. Alright, we are ready for takeoff. Of course, well, almost. Even though this is DVI compatible, that would work with an analog VGA input. I don't know where my adapter is right now. And my working Apple display that uses this ADC connector doesn't have a stand. And I don't really want to junk up my workbench anyway. We'll just go ahead and use the digital video input. Alright. It's now or never. Let's see if it posts. I want to get a chime out of it at least. I hear another fan. Might take it a little bit longer now that it's got all that extra memory in it. I hear the power supply doing things, but I've got no video. Okay, I put the old RAM back and I reseated the video connector. With the video connector, the video card. Let's see what happens this time. No, it seems to me like the problem is the video card. Yeah, problem is the video card. So that's great. That was the part that was supposed to work. Okay, ready on 7000 and 2 gig RAM upgrade. Of course. It worked beautifully the first time. Why not now? Awesome. Okay. This is going great. Well, that's more promising. Guess I can plug my keyboard in. Hey, video! Wow! Sort of. Almost. Oh, there it comes. So that's cool. I guess my guaranteed to work video card doesn't work after all. Might give it another try with like the ADC connector, because I do have the monitor. And see if Maybe at least it'll do something. Maybe it's defaulting to that Apple display connector. Or maybe it just can't see something. I don't know. But that's exceedingly annoying. Because that was the part of the upgrade I wanted to do, and was the part that was actually supposed to work. I guess not, eh? Yeah. But we have 2 gigs of RAM now. So that's pretty nice. Okay, with the Apple display this time. That lights up. It's really dirty. Should probably clean it. OMG. Okay, well. Got that going now. So at least I know that the card works. Of course, the battery is busted. That's fine. I guess if I have to use it like this, I'll use it like this. It's not that big of a deal. This isn't really the right monitor for this computer, but... Let's see... Displays... RS360. Look at that. Hardware accelerated Apple Studio display. Which is not the screen I want. Well, we'll shut it down. And I'll see if maybe the DVI wants to work now. Or if maybe they've got this card set up in such a way that you have to use the Apple display connector. I hope not, because that would be a pain. It doesn't want to shut down now. Okay, unplugged the Apple, plugged in the DVI. Let's see what it does now. Did take it a second last time. Okay. Well, that's supremely odd. I don't know. I guess maybe it just needed to be reseated. Should really go through this machine and clean out all the dirt. That might be nice. It would certainly be a nice thing to do to it. Wow, that looks a lot better on this display than it did on the other one. Alright, I'm going to take this keyboard and I'm going to put this stuff here, just out of the way. Yeah, that looks a lot better. What resolution is this running at? 1600 by 1200. I don't think that's the native resolution of this panel. I thought this was a 1280 by 1024. I guess not. Well, we learn something new every day. I didn't realize this was a 1600 by 1200 panel. I wish I did. But at least that's working now. Let's try our video experiment again. Alright, this is the same video. Well, it is a little better. I can't go full screen.
Why am I going to the Keykeepers? Well, because the naughty truck is at it again.
Although it's at 144p.
70,000 miles.
Let's try 240. See if it can do that.
the alternator gave up, or so I very strongly believe. And it was actually quite a long pathway to the point that we finally reached where the thing was given up completely.
It is working a little bit better at some of these higher resolutions. Let's try setting it to 360. I wish this would go away. See if it's at least watchable.
Completely. Because a couple months ago, on a very hot summer day, I started out, I was going down the street, heading to get some lunch somewhere.
It is a lot more
And all
watchable.
of a sudden I saw the voltmeter start waggling back and forth, back and
Yeah,
forth,
look at
back
that.
and forth. And just as quick.
So, still not a really pleasant experience. But I have at least gotten it a little bit better. And that was really kind of what I wanted to get towards. It's more important that it loads the ads, I guess. Yeah. That's not working. That's not working at all. Will it at least play the video?
And just as quickly as it started doing that, it stopped.
Yeah, that's not really working.
It started doing a very interesting thing on extremely...
I don't even know where my mouse is.
And it had to be human. Heat just wasn't enough.
I wonder if I lost... No, there it is.
I'd love to hear from you down in the comments. But on very, very humid days...
Yeah, this isn't really working. Okay, now we'll let the page try and load. And see if maybe that improves it a little bit, but... Yeah, YouTube is not really a thing on something like this. Yeah, I've sat here and waited for a bit. I don't think that's going to load, but... At least I have control of the browser. Kind of makes me wonder a little bit. How this thing's doing. Those fans are running at the back. There's definitely some heat output from that. Let's see what happens when I hit the play button on this video.
Quickly as it started doing that, it stopped. Several weeks later, it started doing a very interesting thing on extremely hot, humid days, and it had to be humid. Heat just wasn't enough, and if anyone could explain that, I'd love to hear from you down in the
It's not a whole lot of motion.
But on very, very humid days, when the engine revs went substantially above idling, like they are...
I don't know if I could find a portion of the video that's got maybe a little bit more motion in it. Have it actually load. Even that's using up quite a bit of the available processor. And this is not a dual processor machine. One thing I really probably should have checked was the memory usage. I didn't even dawn on me. Take a look. There it is. All 2 gigabytes. So that'll be nice. Now this is a 64-bit system, I believe. I know that the PowerPC G5 was a 64-bit CPU. And the architecture itself would almost certainly have to be 64-bit, considering it's got PCIX slots, which are 64 bits wide. But I don't know that the Mac OS X software, the 10.5, even in its latest revision, is 64-bit capable. Even if you happen to get the right install media for something like this machine, I think you're still stuck in 32-bit land, so 4 gigs of RAM is really the only thing you'll ever see on something like this. So, you know, it is what it is. It's got its new video card, closer to stock. I'll put all the screws back and everything else as soon as I put this machine away, but I think I ought to put the video away first. So, I don't know why I can't click on things with this. It's like it's that different. But, here you go. there is your Power Mac G5 upgrade video. Thank you for watching, and if you have any comments, feel free to leave them below.